Hey everybody, welcome back to another Jackson Jet Setting private destination review. Today we are heading in docking at Celebration Key, the new destination from Carnival Cruise Line. It features a sandcastle with multiple water slides as its main icon, and it's meant to compete with the Coco Keys of the world. They're trying to bring in a lot more of the Bahamian culture, which we have seen as a theme on some of these newer destinations that have opened up. I'm thinking of Lookout Key from Disney that opened last year. So in this video, we're going to do a full tour of the destination, and I'm going to give you my thoughts along the way. We're going to look at all the things to do. We're going to look at the food here, and that's a big controversial issue, spoiler alert. So let's begin our tour on board the Carnival Elation. And as you can see, the Carnival Mardi Gras is docked right next to us. This currently can handle 2 ships at a time, though they are adding another pier. So at some point in time in the near future, there will be up to 4 ships in port here at one time, which is pretty insane. It's a short walk to the main beach and central area here at Celebration Key, so you have nice shade walking there, or you can take a golf cart if you have some mobility issues or just can't make the walk. So it's not too long of a walk, about a 10-minute walk. And right here at the Celebration Key Sun, you will have a choice to make. You can either choose going to the right, which is Starfish Lagoon, or left, which is Calypso Lagoon, and each have different vibes, different activities to kind of spread out the folks on board to help them have an awesome day on shore. So we're going to start our tour over on the Starfish Lagoon side. And just a quick note here, the lagoons are the largest freshwater pools in the Caribbean. So they are absolutely gigantic. They're very beautiful, a very beautiful blue. When the sun is shining, we had a little bit of weather during my tour here, but I love that each side has these fun little postcards for a good photo op, nice bright colors. And Starfish Lagoon is going to lean more family friendly. You do have this splash pad here. This is called Guppy Grotto, and for the adults right next door is the Lagoon Bar East. They have lots of frozen drinks going on. And that brings me to a good point to make here right off the top, is that your cheers package on board, your drinks package, does not work here at Celebration Key. So that's a big departure from some other cruise lines like Royal Caribbean that allow you to use your drink package on shore at Coco Cay. Right next to that is Yum Shine Scoops, and this is the destination's ice cream parlor. So you can get some extra charge ice cream. Again, that is not included in your cruise fare. And this is going to be underneath the Sun Castle. So the Sun Castle is going to be the main icon here for Celebration Key. Very pretty building, and it has 2 water slides that are an extra charge as well that I managed to do. They cost $15 for the day. So keep that in mind. If you're into big water slides, you do have to pay extra. Coco Cay also requires you to pay extra for their water park, though that's a little bit more expensive. And the rumor is that they're building a water park here at Celebration Key pretty soon, so keep that in mind. Now there's one big pathway that's encircling the entirety of Celebration Key, and then there are 2 tram routes on either side. So the trams don't go all the way around. You basically have to choose a side and then ride the tram to different stops. Now here's the biggest food location that I saw on the island, Captain's Galley Food Hall. And so preloaded on your sail and sign card is going to be 1 meal per person. So that's going to include 1 entree, a side, and then a little cookie or a dessert. Everyone in your cabin is going to have all the meals preloaded onto the card, so just be careful, don't eat your roommates' meals or your other family's meals. They're going to be very upset with you. But anything beyond that is going to be an extra charge. So that's a big departure from other private destinations that cruise lines operate. This is a major point of contention online about this place. To me, it's not the biggest deal in the world. I don't really overindulge while I'm on the private islands, but I did feel like during my stay here, I did want maybe like a buffet option or just a ability to get another free little piece of chicken or just some small snack after hanging out in the pool all day. So just keep that in mind. You get 1 free meal here at Celebration Key. We'll see if that changes in the future. Here's a good look at the Starfish Lagoon. So you have a lot of different cabana options here. You saw the parrotfish swim up bar over there, which is really fun. There's also a fun bar on the beach side, and I should mention that there are 2 beaches here at Celebration Key, 1 on either side of the lagoon. So Starfish Beach, appropriately enough, is the name of the beach on the Starfish Lagoon side. So you have nice views of the ship, lots of beach chairs as well. So if you're looking for a nice beach day, this is going to be a nice destination for you, because I think a big focus are the lagoons. And for me, I think the water is very pretty here on Grand Bahama Island. Yes, I did want to mention that this is not a private island. This is a private destination. So it's on the larger island of Grand Bahama, and you can actually take full shore excursions of Grand Bahama from Celebration Key. It's a little bit different than Coco Cay, so I'll show you just how to do that when we get to the departure point at the very top of the two lagoons. Some nice beach games here, lots of volleyball courts spread out throughout the destination. Sprinkled on either side of the lagoon are these sports zones, so you do have that volleyball, and then you have some covered areas with some ping pong games for when it gets maybe a little rainy. Though you can't fit a full ship's worth of passengers under there by any means, but basketball courts and some chill out hammocks too. So a lot of fun to be had here outside of those big lagoons here at the destination. Lots of restrooms on either side of Celebration Key. I counted 4 at least on each side. So very easy to access, maybe a little far away from the lagoon. But these feature showers as well as extra charge lockers if you want to store some valuables. I would just leave it on the ship to save a little bit of money if it were me. And this comes to one of our first food stops on the tour. These are the food trucks, so you can use your free Island Eats meal here. There's 2 of these on either side of the lagoon, and each one is going to have different menus. These are all operated by local Grand Bahamians, which is pretty cool. So I do like that they did that, and I think that's part of the reason why some of the food is extra charge. These are entrepreneurs that are able to come on to the island here, Celebration Key, and be able to sell their food to the cruise ship passengers, which is awesome. And you have a great view of the lagoon over here. That's Shoalmates Island Bar over there to the left. You have some floating cabanas that you can rent there, as well as poolside cabanas. So lots of cabanas to rent. Definitely a theme I saw, that there are basically cabanas everywhere. There's cabanas off the pool, in the pool, on top of the pool. Some of the cabanas even have water slides that go into the lagoon, so a lot of fun there for those that have a bigger group and maybe can all split up the cost. Or if you're just balling out and you have a lot of money to blow, you can rent one of those just for your group of 2 or even just you alone. Over here on the north side of Starfish Lagoon, I did love the pickleball court here. So a lot of people bringing their pickleball gear on board nowadays. So that's a fun option available to folks just to get some competition on here on the island, get some exercise. And now we're coming to one of our first sit-down restaurants available. This is Gill's Grill. So Gill's Grill is not going to be available on the Island Eats card. Instead, you can use your meal credit to get 25% off one entree. So just keep that in mind. They do have a full bar here as well, so you don't have to be eating just to hang out. I did notice that some of the bars had televisions and stuff for sports. It's a big draw, of course, when you're on vacation. So just keep that in mind. Here's sort of the pricing. It seemed to me like kind of normal Bahamas pricing, which to me seems a little bit high. But there you go. You do have another meal option available with full waiter service. You have some rent-a noodles over there as well. Carnival will not allow you to use any of your own flotation devices in the pool for safety reasons, and so you can rent a Carnival approved noodle instead. I did see this fun little instrument area for the little kids, so you can play a little Calypso music. I did want to shout out the pavement as well. I liked all the sea glass that was embedded in the pavement throughout, and it did change colors based on the side of the lagoon that you're on, so that was fun. A little placemaking allows people to get around a little bit easier. Another snack shack over here next to the very top of the lagoon. We're making our way back towards the Sun Castle over there. And so this will lead us to Lokono Cove. So Lokono Cove is basically going to be the top of the lagoons near where you can exit Celebration Key and do some of your excursions. There's also a few shops, some duty-free shops. So this is going to be kind of your traditional Caribbean port feel right as you get off the ship. Lots and lots of vendors, lots of kind of corporate entities that are operating some of these shops. Seem to me like a lot more corporate money going into these shops versus some of the more local options that you might find. Certainly not all of them, but the Grand Bahama Duty Free, it seems like the same font of every duty free store that I see throughout the Caribbean during my travels. Hey, if you've made it this far in the video and you're not subscribed yet to the channel, please consider doing so, or at least liking the video. It really helps me out. I post videos 3 times a week from my travels, a lot of cruise content on the channel, so you can go back and look at a lot of fun videos that I've had over the past couple years here growing the channel. So this is basically the backside of Lokono Cove. It leads to both sides of the lagoon and the backside of the Sun Castle. So you have a big plaza that we'll get to here in just a moment. But this is also where the water slides spill out. I did like how they had a nice shallow area here with some free to use, first come, first serve pool chairs that are in the water itself. Good for the little kids too, to have kind of a shelf to run around. And I did love the Sun Castle here. I think that was a fun icon to choose for the entire destination. And just 2 water slides, very, very fast, pretty long water slides, but I do feel like they could have maybe included that. I know that it's kind of low capacity rides, and if you let everyone do it, then the lines can get super long, but I do feel like with how much there is but isn't to do at Celebration Key, I do think including that in your cruise fare would be maybe a good move from Carnival. It just seems like if you're not really a like hang out in the lagoon person or here for the bars, you know, there's not a ton really to do here. That was kind of my feeling. Again, I'm not a gigantic like hang out in the pool all day type of person, so I might be wildly off base. But if you are like me, you may find yourself looking at some of those excursions for your next visit to Celebration Key. Now, I did love this island souvenir store as you walk in, because you have this big flamingo coming down from the ceiling, kind of like you're in the pool or in the ocean itself. Pretty fun. And right next to that is Celebration Key's coffee shop. So it's going to be right underneath all of the water slides inside the castle itself. Again, an extra charge. Your Cheers package does not work for the coffee here. Now, in the interior plaza of Lokono Cove, you do have shops on either side. And then you have more locally operated stalls, so you can barter here. You can kind of find your more artisanal, maybe more handmade goods from Bahamas to bring home. So I do recommend checking out these little stalls and seeing if there's anything cool there. And then when I was walking through, I came across the very fun entertainment here on the island. I'm so glad that they did this. They do a Junkanoo parade with a full band going on, so I'll let them play out here. Really fun music. Now we're going to continue our circle that we're making around Celebration Key at the very top of Calypso Lagoon. And here is where we're going to find the Sunshine Swings Bar. And lots of signage to let you know exactly where you are in the lagoon. So this is where you would pick up the tram for the Calypso Lagoon side of Celebration Key. I do feel like they should probably make the tram go all the way around the destination. Maybe having 2 different directions of traffic depending on where you're going, but we'll see if people have complaints about that. Another snack shack available here in Calypso Lagoon. And another sports court area. So this one doesn't have pickleball, but does still have that beach volleyball and a few other games. So what are you thinking about Celebration Key so far? Do you agree with me? Do you not? Please let me know in the comments. If you're looking to take a cruise to Celebration Key, if this looks like an awesome time for you or your family, please reach out to us, jacksonjetsetting.com/book. We can get you a free quote. Our services are completely free. We're just aiming to get you the best vacation at the best price possible. Another sit-down restaurant, Surf and Sauce, Barbecue and Brews. So the island's barbecue restaurant had some televisions up for sports as well. So you can come in here and grab a drink. So good spot to watch some sports, maybe get a fun sandwich. Didn't get a chance to try this, but I bet pretty good. And this takes us to the next area of food trucks on the Calypso Lagoon side. So a few different options available here. This is where I got my ghost pepper fried chicken sandwich. Was pretty good. So that was called Foul Play. And they do sell beers out of here as well if you're looking to have a beer with your meal. I went ahead and just sat down at one of the beach chairs just to have my meal. A lot of ants in the sand. I know that's probably just random chance, but it did kind of detract from my meal experience. But a couple of local options here. They have conch fritters and things like that. So do recommend trying some of the more local food here. And this was one area when the destination first opened just a few months ago that was adults only, but they have actually now extended that to ages 13 and up. Seems like they were kind of invading the swim up bar that I'll show you in just a sec. So this is going to be an area that you can escape at least some of the younger kids. If you're going to look for that adults only experience, unfortunately that's going to be at Pearl Cove, which is behind a paywall. It's an extra charge to go into Pearl Cove, and I'll show you where that is in just a sec. But we are at the other end of the lagoon here, very pretty views. You can see the huge swim up bar, very popular destination there, and then some more cabanas and stuff in the lagoon itself. And to enter Pearl Cove, you'd cross the tram road, and then you'll show your sail and sign card. They'll let you in. There's different tiers of access, just accessing Pearl Cove. Then there's one that includes the meal, and there's one that includes unlimited beverages. So there is still paid food in here. You can use your Island Eats credit in here as well if you don't want to pay extra for that. So just keep that in mind. It's not a fully all-inclusive. You got to pick the right package for your vacation. This is sort of a response to Hideaway Beach that Royal Caribbean has on Coco Cay already. And so there's a nice infinity pool in there, as well as a beach destination that's private just for Pearl Cove, which is really nice. And so this is the Calypso beach. It's got a great view of the ships as well. So if you're looking for a full tour of Pearl Cove, unfortunately I don't have that for this video. They actually didn't sell access since we arrived in port so late, but I will be touring it on my next visit here in the next few months. So stay tuned to the channel and subscribe for more there. I did like this stretch of beach. I do think that the water is really beautiful here, and it seems like a lot of people really just focus on the lagoon. Definitely emptied out when Mardi Gras was going to depart a little bit before us, and then also the storm clouds kind of were rolling in, so it seemed like it was pretty empty, honestly, for the day here. So doubling back to kind of where we left the circle, I want to take you into Mingo's, which is another sit-down restaurant. It also features the swim-up bar that's actually in the pool. There's a small shop as well. So I think probably my biggest takeaway from Celebration Key is that there are a lot of choices that maybe are confusing guests, maybe feel like guests are getting nickel and dimed. I certainly felt that way. I do think that having an all-inclusive feel to a destination on shore, especially one that the cruise line is maybe replacing from a more local port, just maybe makes things feel a little bit more fair. So we'll see if Carnival makes any adjustments to their operations here. People are certainly having a good time on shore, but those drinks certainly add up, especially if you've already paid for a Cheers package. And of course that will still work if you stay on the ship for the day. So just keep that in mind. It is a very interesting time when you open a brand new destination. There's definitely some things to work out in terms of operations. Some more snack shacks as we make our way back to the main pier where you can return to the ships. And here is Lagoon Bar West. So this is going to be located kind of mirror image from Lagoon Bar East, facing the Calypso Lagoon, very pretty bar. And then next to that is going to be the guest services and shore excursion desk, as well as a small shop kiosk selling sunscreen and things like that. Now I did want to close out the video here walking through the main Sun Castle here, so you can actually walk through it kind of like Disneyland Castle, which is fun. And that'll lead you straight out to the departures area at the very end of Lokono Cove, and that's where you can pick up your more local excursions. You don't have to do an excursion booked through Carnival. You can book a local excursion and tour Grand Bahama. This is my first time on the island, so I do want to check that out maybe next time. But a very fun time here on Celebration Key. I think a few things that I would definitely change operationally, but overall a pretty good day, especially if you're someone who's a fan of gigantic pools and doesn't mind spending a few extra bucks on some drinks to have a good time. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.